What is going on, Empower Physique family? I wanted to make a very simple breakdown for you guys on how to utilize MyFitnessPal. Now, here we have the desktop version because it's the easiest way for me to actually show you guys how to use it. It is identical to the mobile app, and the mobile app is what you are going to be using primarily because it's just a lot easier to have everything on your phone, and that's the one that's also going to be connected to my Empower Physique app. So, let's just dive right into it. First and foremost, once you guys get your initial starting macros and your starting percentages and your starting meal plan from me, you are going to go and adjust your goal macros. So what you will do for that is go over to your home. Again, this is the exact same thing on the mobile app. You're going to go over to goals. Hold on one second. Not really sure what's happening here. Perfect. All right. So we go over to goals, right? And this is where we're going to be able to adjust. So we're going to edit and we're going to input the calories that I have for you. And we're going to input the percentage of the carbohydrates, fats, and protein that I give to you guys. So again, I'll give you the breakdown. There's no need for you to purchase the premium app. Again, I'm not even using the premium app. I'm using the free one, right? And that will only allow you to adjust by percentages. So if your carbohydrates are at 30%, fat is at 35%, protein is at 35%, whatever it is that your carbohydrates, fats, and proteins are at, we're going to adjust this goal and we're going to save the changes because this is going to reflect in our diary what goals we are after. Now, when you initially sign up for MyFitnessPal, they will give you numbers. Completely disregard those numbers. They are not accurate. They're just random. They're going to take into account your height, weight, all of that stuff, but it's not actually what you need. The calories, the macros, the breakdown that I provide for you as your coach, that is what you're going to need. So first and foremost, we're going to adjust those calories, carbs, fats, and protein percentages under the goals section. So that's number one. Then we can come over to the homepage. Now we get to start logging our food, guys. This is actually really fun and it's really exciting, but I do not want you to get overwhelmed. So for today, I've already pre-logged pretty much everything that I'm eating. And something that's really cool about MyFitnessPal is once you log things in once, if you are a creature of habit and you eat the same thing every day, as you continue to track your food, you'll be able to swipe and add the meals from the previous day. And this is going to save you a lot of time. That's what I do. I don't enter all of these every single day because I've done it for so long now. I'll just swipe and add from yesterday, and then I can make slight adjustments if there are any. So what that looks like over here is if we go to tomorrow's date, you can do a quick tool and you can copy from date. You can copy from yesterday's food, right? And then it'll automatically populate everything that I had yesterday. So that's a little hack for you guys. It makes things a lot more simple. Now, if you guys notice, these foods are very similar to what we have in the Empower Physique breakfast sandwich. It's like a classic, guys. So we have the fat-free cheese, we have the English muffin, I put arugula, ketchup, tomatoes, and then the egg whites, and then these are the gummies that I take every morning, my vitamins. I also include those because they do have some carbs in them. So this is one way for you guys to be able to track, is to take the recipe and break it down into individual servings. So again, what does that look like? This is the breakfast sandwich recipe, but I broke it down so that I have the slice of cheese, I have the English muffin, I have everything just laid out individually, right? But the other thing that we can do here is, I'm going to try and find the page that I have for you guys right here. So if there is a recipe and it looks a little bit confusing, right? There's a lot of things going on here. We have a ton of different spices. We have all this stuff, right? And what's great about the recipes that I give you, about the meal plan that I give you, is everything is included in grams, and this is going to make your life so much easier, guys, than just trying to input all of these things over here. So definitely pay attention to the grams section, and instead of getting overwhelmed and trying to put in chili powder, paprika, onion, garlic, one thing to note is that you do not need to actually log any spices. Spices are a no-go. They're free. We don't have to do that unless it's sugar, right? This one doesn't really matter. But if it's like 3 tablespoons, 4 tablespoons, 5 tablespoons of sugar, we definitely want to log that. But salt, we don't want to log. All of these pepper, spices, we don't need to worry about that. We need to worry about the main ingredients here. We would just have to log the onion. We would have to log the green bell pepper. Again, all of these grams, 35 grams, 60 grams, 30 grams. The tortilla, we want to put that in, the sour cream, and then the chicken tenderloins, right? And then the black beans here. So those, you can input all of those individually. So what you would do, let's say we're going to input it individually, is we go to add food. Let's say the fajitas is my lunch, right? And again, remember all of the things that are in here that are important. We don't worry about the spices. So the one that's important, we are going to come down here to the onions. So we're literally going to search the database for onion. That's it. Now, one thing that I want you to note is this, the green check mark. That is super important. That is going to provide the most accurate logging of the food by USDA, right? Because people are able to just input random foods in here and they may not be correct. So sometimes you may think that you're putting in cilantro, but that cilantro has 350 grams of carbs. Why? I don't know. But somebody decided to do that, right? And that's completely inaccurate. That's not what we want to do. We want to make sure that we're finding the ones with the green check marks. Now you can see the onion right here has 1 gram. So it's logged in grams. This is perfect because remember, I told you guys on the meal plan, we have the grams right here. Now, if you guys are wondering, like, how do I figure out the grams? How do I actually do that physically when I'm cooking the meals? This is the #1 tool that we need to have in your kitchen. It is a food scale, especially when you are beginning on this journey. The food scale is so important because we need to know how much of what we're having. We need to know it as exact as possible. If we use measuring cups, if we use tablespoons, if we use just eyeballing portions, it is not going to be exact and we can very easily be going over or under in calories, and that's not going to help us. So this is already in your initial starting email that you need to purchase a food scale. It's like $10 from Amazon. But when you do turn on your food scale, it will have a bunch of different options. It'll have grams, milliliters, ounces, pounds, and ounces, right? We want to make sure that we're going over to the grams and we're just zeroing it out, and then we can put whatever it is on top that we want to be weighing, right? So this is physically how you can figure out what it is. You want to make sure that you have it on a flat surface. If you're putting something on top of here, so let's say you're putting a bowl and then you're going to put your food inside the bowl, just to keep it cleaner, you're going to want to zero out that bowl so that it doesn't have any weight to it, and then you can put the food in and measure it out. So that's visually for you guys when you are making your food. Now when we're logging our food, again, it's 35 grams of onions. So you're gonna go in here, 1 serving of 1 gram. We're gonna change that to the serving size. So it was 35 grams, right? 35 grams. We're gonna add that to the food diary to lunch. Perfect, right? Here we go. We've got the onions. And now this is taking a lot longer than it would take you guys because I'm literally explaining everything step by step, but this should literally take you 20 seconds to add in your food. Now again, the next important item here is the green bell pepper, 60 grams, right? So we can go and search bell peppers. And we want to make sure, again, that it's this, the check mark, not any of these because we don't know if they were grilled, we don't know what entry these are. So we can see that there's the green check mark. Now it says 1 serving of 3 peppers. That's not what we want. We don't want to find this, right? So now we're going to go to the next best option. So we're going to go to Subway bell pepper. They only have strips, right? That's not good either. So now we're going to keep going. Now we're going to go here. Bell peppers, 100 grams. Okay, this could work, right? So this seems pretty accurate with, again, it doesn't have the check mark, but it seems pretty accurate. It doesn't have anything specific that it's saying that it was cooked or anything like that. So we're going to change it to the 1 gram. Now we see over here that the green bell pepper, there's 60 grams. And just to save you guys some time, green bell pepper, red bell pepper, they're the same thing. They're both bell peppers, right? So we have 60 grams here, 30 grams here. We're going to do 90 grams in total. So we're going to change this to 90 grams and we're going to add it to the food diary. Boom. So now we have our onions and we have our bell peppers, 90 grams. Those are important. Now we're gonna go down here. The limes doesn't matter. The tortillas, that is going to be specified down at the bottom on your grocery list. It'll tell you which brand that you wanna go to, right? So Again, now we see it's this tortilla. We're gonna say that it's just a corn tortilla. Corn tortilla mission. Now, to save you guys even more time, if you are doing this on your phone, which you should be, and if you guys have the actual package with you, there's an option for you to scan the barcode. I highly recommend this because it'll make things so much quicker. For fresh veggies, don't do it because you can't, right? It doesn't have a barcode. But if you have a mission tortilla and you have the actual package of it, just scan the barcode and it'll immediately input it for you. So it was one tortilla. We've got the mission one right here, 26 grams. Perfect. Let's add it to the food diary. Let's say that that was the one that we had. Great. And now we have sour cream. It's not light sour cream. It's just regular sour cream. So we're going to go again. We're going to type in sour cream and it's 1 serving. So it's 2 tablespoons, 30 grams. So we want to make sure we go over to here, sour cream, and we go over to 1 tablespoon and we put in 2 tablespoons. But I want you guys to be weighing this out by the grams. So if you wanted to, we can go over here and we can put 30 grams. And we will add that to the food diary. Oh, see, this was an error, right? So this one is saying it's 6,420 calories. Incorrect. We're going to delete that one. Now, if we go down here to the grocery list, it'll tell you it was actually reduced fat sour cream. And it was 1/4 cup, 60 grams. That's what it's showing over here, right? So obviously that was for a full serving. This one is only 30 grams, but we know it's reduced fat sour cream. Again, to make this a lot easier, we would just scan the barcode on it, right? If it's Daisy, whatever brand it is, let's say it's Daisy reduced sour cream. The more specific you are with the inputs, the easier it's going to be. So here we have light sour cream by Daisy, perfect, 30 grams, 35 calories. This is accurate, right? Not the mistake that we had before. Great, so now we have the onions, the bell peppers, we have the tortilla, we have the sour cream, and now last but not least, we're gonna add in the chicken tenderloins, right? So we're gonna go over here and we're gonna do chicken tenderloins. Now this is something that you are going to have to decide on your own if you want to weigh your food not cooked or if you want to weigh it cooked. So let's just say that we are pre-prepping all of our food, right? And we're weighing it out raw. I highly recommend this. I think it's just better for you to weigh it out raw. So over here, it's 5 ounces of chicken tenderloin, and this is raw weight, right? It's before you cook it. When you do cook it, it's going to shrink down. So here it's 1 serving of 4 ounces, but we want to change this to 1 ounce. And then we want to change the total number to 5 servings of 1 ounce. So now we're going to add this food to the diary. Just make sure it's correct. It's 5 ounces, 138 calories, and it's got the protein over here, 33 grams of protein, right? So now this is the entire meal, guys. Again, the spices don't matter. We don't have to actually input any of those. They're so low in calories that it doesn't even count, but we want to make sure we count what matters. So that's the onions, the peppers, the tortilla, the cream, and then the chicken tenderloins, right? And in addition to that, in this serving for the dinner, we also have 1/2 cup of black beans, 130 grams. So if you look here and you are actually getting this brand, it's a great value brand. So we'll go in and we'll add that as well. So we'll just search great value black beans. And we will search for that. This is 1 cup here, but we're not doing 1 cup. We're doing 1/2 cup. So you can change that to 1/2 cup. And that should give us the correct macros here. Again, there will be some slight variation. It's best if you scan it because that's going to be directly what's on the can. This one is down 5 calories from this one, but it's very, very similar. So again, the meal should come out to be 384 calories, 41 grams of carbs, 6 grams of fat, and 45 grams of protein, which is going to be very similar to what we have here. This is the 45 grams of carbs, 44 protein, 7 grams of fat, right? So it's very, very similar. It's not going to be 100% exact because it does depend on the brands that you guys are using, but overall, very, very close. 384 calories versus 393 calories. It's off by 9 calories, right? So that is how you manually input the food. The other option that we have, again, I recommend this if you have a little bit of extra time in the day because it's going to be very easy for you to now just save this as a meal, right? So you can actually remember this as a meal. and we can name the meal. So now this can be fajitas, and then I would put the date, because what I tend to do as your coach is when I do give you meal plans, if that's what we're following, I will be changing the percentages. I will be changing the portion sizes here and there, sometimes adding in more protein, sometimes adding less protein, right? So that's why I highly recommend for you to individually input all of these so that we can make those adjustments when we can. But now that you've actually saved this as a meal, you can go over to My Meals and you'll be able to find it. So you can see here, fajitas, 4-5. And you can take this meal and then you can actually log that in the future. So that's really helpful. The other thing that you guys can do is go over to My Foods. Now, when you're in here, you can actually create a food based off of the recipe that I give you. So let's say that we want to create the food. We want to create this meal, the fajitas and black beans. Because remember, guys, these calories up here are going to account for everything that you guys are having for dinner. So that means the fajitas and the black beans. So that's what's going to be accounted for in here. It's not just the fajitas, it's both, right? So what you can do is we can actually create a new food. So we can say Ellie's fajita and black beans. And then we can write the description of Ellie's recipe, right? Or Empower Physique recipe, or however you want to remember it. Nope, this is not a duplicate. Now we're gonna go in here and we're gonna say serving size is 1 serving, servings per container 1, because this is a single serving for you guys. Now literally all you have to do is take this information here and copy it over. So we see that the calories are 393, and then you can enter in the fat, which I believe was 7 grams of fat, and then we have protein is 44 grams, and then we have 44 carbs, and we can enter that in as well. And then the fiber is 12 grams. The more specific you want to get, you can do that, right? And then we will save this as a food. Now, when we go in, let's go to tomorrow because it's just easier for you guys. Instead of manually entering all of this in, because we've already created the food, we can go to add a food and we can go over to My Food. When we go in here, we have Ellie's fajita and black beans recipe, right? So what we can do is just check that, add the checked. Look at that. Now it's in here, and it's very, very simple for you guys to be able to add this food in. So that's a hack for you, again, if you guys are utilizing the meal plans that I'm providing for you in the beginning. That's what we can do. Same thing here for the lunch. If you wanted to account for the turkey wrap and the cucumber slices, you can individually input all of these items, or you can just go and create a new food and you can input the calories from up here. Just remember that it is the lunch of the turkey and the cucumber slices. So that's just a little bit of a breakdown for you guys on how to use MyFitnessPal. Again, when you are searching in the database for those items, keep in mind that you want to find the ones with a check mark as close as possible. And if you don't have that option, then go for one that's going to say USDA or be the most realistic. If you see that it's cilantro and it says it has 7,000 grams of fat, that's not going to be accurate, so don't use those. And as much as you can, use the scan option on MyFitnessPal on the app to just scan the items that have a barcode, because it's going to automatically pop up. It's going to make your life a lot easier. And that's what I have for you guys in this video. If we need any more questions on how to actually input things on MyFitnessPal, actually, let's go over to the recipes section. So a lot of you guys want recipes in bulk, right? And so I have my protein muffin, my protein donut recipe. And instead of trying to input that all the time and trying to figure those out and create like a random food, what I'm gonna do is go over to the recipes. And if you guys do make these protein muffins, then you know you have a full recipe for 12 servings. So what you're gonna wanna do is go and create a new recipe. I'm just gonna show you this one because this is how I have it, right? So when I created the recipe, I added all of the ingredients that I use by the grams: the coconut flour, the egg whites, the protein powder, the applesauce, and the cottage cheese. And I set the servings at 12, right? So now all I have to do is go and log how many I had. I believe this one is not going to let me show you guys, but let's say I'm adding it to breakfast and I had 1 serving, and then it will log that for you, right? So right here, it's the 1 serving and the 48 calories, and everything is broken down instead of individually going and creating that. So what you can do is just to give you a little breakdown, is enter in a new recipe right here, right? So then we just name the recipe. Let's say it's protein muffins and it serves 12 people. Great, we're gonna add the ingredient and we're just gonna go down the list of what's in there. So if we have liquid egg whites, we're gonna search liquid egg whites, or I believe you can also scan it. This is a great brand, and we can just go to 1 gram. I know I use 150 grams, and we can add that because we're going to enter in the entire recipe here. So that's kind of how it goes. Again, you have the recipe up next to you and you add in everything so that this way you can have multiple servings of it, and just remember how big the recipe is. So that is what I have for you guys. I hope this video was helpful, and I'll catch you in the next one.